Welcome to Thuringia Square German parliamentary election. It's December 1st, 2024. And yes, this new series is about the snap elections in Germany for 2025. And for those who are not familiar with the German election system, we will talk about it in this episode and the next one. But first, 84 days until election day. So be prepared. We have a lot to cover and we will dive deep into statistics with this and the next episodes. So, hope you're ready. Let's start. But first, how does Germany vote? So, first of all, German citizens at the age of 18 or older are allowed to vote. They can cast two votes, one for the constituents for the direct vote and the second one for the parties list. And then, based on the total number of votes of the first and the second votes, this will determine how many seats a party gains or gets in the German parliament, the Bundestag. Next, then, the federal president, at the moment this is Frank-Walter Steinmeier from the SPD, will propose a chancellor candidate to the parliament. This is usually the candidate of the faction with the most seats in parliament. And then usually constituents will elect the chancellor. They don't have to, but well, it's very likely that this is happening, specifically after the parties agreed on some kind of a coalition. Like at the moment, it's the Ampel coalition that, well, as you know, is broken apart. The German parliament is one of the largest in the world. Not the largest, but one of the largest, with almost 600 seats. But they are also leveling in overhang seats based on how many direct seats the party gains, and then also to level it with other parties. And there's also a 5% threshold. This is something installed after the Weimar Republic to avoid that the parliament is unable to act. Anyway, if a party gained 3 direct mandates, then the party can enter parliament again, even if they don't have 5%. Let's talk about people in the election. These are Friedrich Merz of the CDU and the CDU-CSU faction. CDU-CSU, there's a little difference because the CSU is only a party in Bavaria. It is not electable anywhere else in Germany, only in Bavaria. CDU is everywhere where you don't find CSU. These are the Christian Democratic or Christian Social Union parties. Then there's the Social Democratic Party with current Chancellor Olaf Scholz. And also there's Christian Lindner. He was the Minister of Finance under Chancellor Scholz. And he is also the leader of the Free Democratic Party, the FDP. Then the top candidate for Alliance 90 Die Greens or Bündnis 90 Die Grünen is Robert Habeck. He is currently the Minister of the Economy in the Scholz administration. Then followed by Alice Weidel for AfD, Alternative für Deutschland or Alternative for Germany. And then there's also a left party in comparison to the AfD, which is a right-wing party. The left-wing party, Die Linke, has Jan von Aken and Heidi Reicheneck. A relatively new party, but not a new face, is the Alliance Sarah Wagenknecht or Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht. This is a party or an alliance movement, whatever you call it, that emerged from Die Linke or the left, and they will run for the Bundestag for the first time, but because they have been previously part of Die Linke, they already have seats in the German Bundestag. Now let's have a first look on the current state of the polls, and here you can see that the CDU is far ahead, or CDU-CSU is far ahead. I will often say CDU, but also mean the CSU. They are far ahead, and then you can also see that the blue line, this is the AfD, they are also ahead of the current Chancellor Party SPD. The SPD, once it was a strong party, now they are not, but they are still ahead of their coalition partner, the Greens, and also ahead of their ex-coalition partner, the FDP. And also ahead is BSW, Bündnisser Wagenknecht. They are in front of their former party, the left. So there's not much movement often, but at least there's more movement in the lower percentage values than in the high values. If we now look at the most recent poll, then you can see that at the moment CDU has 32.5%, with the SPD having 15%, 4.6% for FDP. They wouldn't be in the Bundestag, but Greens, for example, would have 12.4%. The Linke wouldn't be in the Bundestag with 3%. Second strongest power in the parliament would be the AfD, 17.9%. Free voters or Freie Wähler wouldn't be in the parliament. And then there's also the Bündnisser Wagenknecht, 6.8%. And then we have others, 7.9%. So this is what we have at the moment on a federal level. And of course, we will follow the results until election day. Then we will see what changes and what doesn't. Interesting at the moment, of course, will be the Bündnisser Wagenknecht. We want to see how this new party how they will perform in the Bundestag election, and even if they will remain an important voice in politics in Germany. Same with AfD. They are already a strong voice in Germany for a longer time. We want to see how they're developing specifically after the state elections in Saxony, in Thuringia, and in Brandenburg. And then also after the implosion of the Ampel coalition, how will Free Democrats survive, or how will they perform in the Bundestag election? This will be interesting and we will follow it. Of course, we also like to see how several people will develop over the time in the elections. For example, Markus Söder of the CSU in Bavaria, how he will cooperate with Friedrich Merz of the sister party, the CDU, because, well, in the 2021 election, it wasn't so much harmony when he had to cooperate with Armin Laschet of the CDU, who was the chancellor candidate for the CDU and CSU. Then Olaf Scholz, well, he's an interesting figure. People say sometimes he's boring, but maybe he can turn everything around. And of course, Christian Lindner, the former Minister of Finance for the Free Democrats. Well, he has been fired by Olaf Scholz, and now there have been revelations that he possibly planned to blow up the the coalition. And so, well, we will see what voters think about this move, or if he will in the end even be the top candidate for the Free Democrats. Next, also in focus are some German states. First of all, Hamburg. There will be state elections on March 2nd, 2025, and this is the hometown and home state of Federal Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and also the place where he has been a mayor. And so we will see how his party will perform in Hamburg. Then we have Thuringia, and this is also interesting because it is one of the few states where the AfD won high. And same with Saxony. And by the way, these are also states where the BSW, the Bündnisser Wagenknecht, performed well. We will, of course, have a close look on these states, and we will start today. And here you can already see that at the moment we have some issues with the model. We will explain it later, but first you can see SPD and the Greens are ahead in Hamburg versus the CDU with only 10.8%. And well, this is normal for a West German state that the that the AfD is not that far, but still CDU would be more up would be closer to the SPD button, and this is what I will explain later. But we have some current polls about the current state of the election for Hamburg, and there you can see, of course, the SPD is still ahead, but it's not as far ahead as we have seen in the first prediction on the forecast, but still the Greens are doing well, but they are on the same level as the CDU and, well, very stable. The AFD, the left, the Linke, is losing ground in contrary to what you can see with the BSW, Bündnisser Wagenknecht, and also very stable is the FDP. In our current forecast for Thuringia, we can already see that at the moment the AFD with their polarizing figure Bandhöcke would be the top performing party in this state, far ahead of the CDU, by far ahead of the SPD of Chancellor Olaf Scholz. And if this would be an election, and this would be the only result, FDP and the Greens wouldn't be in parliament. The left would only be a small faction in the parliament. This is interesting because in the past, the left, or Die Linke, was the party who had the prime minister in this state of Thuringia. And here we can see how the party Die Linke performed in Thuringia over the time. They once were a party with, well, at least or around 30%, but then there was a downfall to, well, sometimes 5%. In the last election, they had an uptick, but it's nothing in comparison to what they have achieved in the past. And in the past, the left was one of the strongest parties in Eastern Germany, which was once a communist state, the GDR, the German Democratic Republic. We can now compare this to the AfD, the Alternative for Germany or Alternative für Deutschland. They had indeed a very steady rise in German politics, specifically in Thuringia, but also in other East German states where they are very strong. They are somehow replacing the left, but not as a left party, but as a far right party. And, well, this is why everybody is watching Thuringia and other East German states. They want to know how is East Germany voting and how is the AfD developing and performing. Then let's go to Saxony or Sachsen. Also the same picture. The AfD is the best performing party if this would be an election at the moment, and this in our forecast. They are ahead of the CDU, but not that far as we have seen in Thuringia. But still here you can see SPD very weak, same with the FDP. The Greens are a little bit stronger, but the Linke is very weak. And here you can see again the development of the AfD. And here we can also see they had a strong development, good upwinds in the elections. And Saxony is also a very special state to watch, where you have more tendency to the left and to the right. And this is why it's interesting to watch it, but this state is not comparable to many other states, specifically not to West Germany. In comparison, we have CDU in Saxony, the party of Michael Kretschmer, who is the prime minister of the state of Saxony. And here we can see even the CDU, a conservative party, a center-right party, lost some votes, but it is not as steep as we have seen with Die Linke. And probably this could be the case because the CDU is also fishing in the same pool of voters as the AfD does in some cases, not in every case, but in some cases. But however, this is just an hypothesis and is not proven yet. Then some words about the current limitations of my model. First of all, the BSW, the Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, is a relatively young party. And, well, it's a bit too young for reliable forecasts, so we can provide high accurate forecast for this party. Anyway, first and second vote systems in Germany are a bit tricky in comparison to what we know from the United States, and gets even more tricky if you see that on a state level, like in Hamburg or in Baden-Württemberg, there are elections with only one vote. Same with the European Parliament election, parliamentary elections. And this makes it a bit tricky, but we'll find a way. Then also we have few organized data sets available in comparison to what we have found for the US presidential elections. Then here we can see the differences between the political culture in the United States and Germany. There are far fewer polls on state and federal level, and this makes it a bit harder to make good predictions for different states. Also, and this is something that we are working on, is that current forecasts that we are working with only take previous elections into account, but not previous polls. This is something that we will work on. I must say that this is a snap election, and of course, snap elections can often come suddenly, and it wasn't planned to cover this election. But I have been asked several times, and so I decided, okay, I will do this. And yeah, now I'm doing this, but still, the model will take some time until I can make more predictable uh, uh, forecast, a reliable forecast. And yeah, you will see how it develops in the future. But I hope that you will stay tuned. And if you like, you can subscribe to the channel. This series will be published in English and in German. So if you also speak German, or if you like to learn more German, you are welcome to try out the German edition of this video. Thank you for watching.